Rick, the well-known star of the reality TV show Pawn Stars, was given a shocking life term in prison. Rick used to be seen as a success story in the antique business, but his career has been full of ups and downs, from running the famous gold and silver junk shop to becoming a TV star. He is, however, in a rough legal fight because of things he did like financial fraud and selling stolen antique. What caused this to happen? Let's get into the specifics of how a TV star lost his job and what led to the shocking decision. Come with us as we find out the shocking story and real life of a man who was once looked up to as a business leader. Please like, subscribe, and turn on notifications if you find this story interesting. This way you'll always know about the latest events and dramatic turns in the case. Not only did Richard Kevin Harrison, better known as Rick Harrison from the hit reality TV show Pawn Stars, become famous on screen, but his interesting real-life stories also got a lot of attention from the media. When Pawn Stars first started airing in July 2009, it was set in the Harrison family's gold and silver pawn shop at 713 South Las Vegas Boulevard. How could a normal pawn shop become one of the most watched shows on the History Channel? The show shows the interesting, and sometimes strange, world of pawnbroking. Richard Kevin Harrison was born on March 22, 1965, in Lexington, North Carolina. He is a famous businessman and a well-known TV personality in the United States. Before he was 2 years old, his family moved to San Diego, California. His family lived in New Washington. He spent most of his childhood there. Few people know that Rick had epilepsy from the time he was 8 years old. Because of this, he spent a lot of time reading. In turn, this helped him learn a huge amount about history, which was very useful for his later work. Rick had a hard life. Because of his seizures, he missed a lot of school, and by his junior year he had dropped out. But the fact that he wasn't able to finish school didn't make him less eager to learn and succeed. Rick didn't follow the usual ways of learning. Instead, he taught himself by reading many books on different topics, mostly about business and history. By teaching himself, he was able to gain a lot of information. This was easy for fans to see when he made impressive appearances on Pawn Stars. So what did Rick, who is independent and interested, do to get into trouble with the law? Rick started working with his father on different business projects when he was a teenager. Here, he learned how to quickly figure out how much something is worth and whether it is real, which was a very useful skill for his future job. She got pregnant when she was 17 and they got married. After 8 years of marriage, the young pair split up. They had 2 sons, Corey and Adam. Rich Harrison, Rick's dad, opened a coin and gold shop in Las Vegas, Nevada, and the family moved there in 1981. Did the ups and downs in Rick's personal life affect what he did and decided in the future? In 1989, what began as a small coin shop slowly grew into the famous gold and silver pawn shop that would become the main setting for Pawn Stars. The Harrison family made the smart choice to change from a coin shop to a pawn shop because they thought they could make more money in this area. Those early years were hard because Rick and his father worked hard to make a name for themselves in Las Vegas. Rick had to deal with difficult people and sometimes dangerous situations. If he has trouble building his job, could that make him make bad choices in the future because he knew so much about different kinds of antiques and collectibles? Rick was a well-known person in Las Vegas by the early 2000s. People from all over the world came to his pawn shop because it was known for having unique and valuable things. Rick saw a chance when he thought about how his business could be used for fun. What then took place? How did someone as powerful and important as Rick Harrison end up with a life sentence? Stay tuned to find out what's going on. But did Rick stop after running a pawn shop well? Not at all. This driven man had a big thought pop into his head: to make the things that happen at his shop every day into an exciting reality TV show. What made Rick want to follow this idea so strongly? Do you see how the unique deals and the long background behind each item can be fun and educational? Rick kept trying to get into TV networks for years and was turned down many times. In 2009, his hard work finally paid off. He made a deal with the History Channel, which is the start of a new part of his work. Rick Did you know that this choice would change your life and the lives of your family for good? It wasn't long before Pawn Stars came out. That showed what Rick, his son Corey, his respected father Richard Oldman Harrison, and his close friend Austin Chumley Russell did at the gold and silver swap shop every day. The show showed how valuable and sometimes downright strange items are valued, bought, and sold. It became a huge hit right away, and Rick went from running a small pawn shop to becoming a TV star that millions of people know. People liked him right away because he had an easy catchphrase, was sure of himself, and knew a lot about history. Every time he bargained with people who wanted to sell their valuable things, he would say, "The best I can do is..." Rick always stressed how educational Pawn Stars was, which was a big part of what made it different from other reality shows. Each episode had interesting historical information about the things that were brought into the shop. Rick often shared background stories and in-depth details that showed how much he knew. The pawn shop grew and started getting people from all over the world who wanted to meet the show's stars or even be in an episode. Rick was in charge of this. Rick wrote books, went to live shows, and even opened a successful restaurant called Rick's Rollin' Smoke Barbecue and Tavern to take advantage of his newfound fame. Rick reached new heights after Pawn Stars. He was on talk shows, in magazines, and in high demand as a speaker at business events. Many Americans could relate to his stories of beating hardship. People respected him, not only in the entertainment business, but also in the business world for giving straightforward business tips. But what made Rick Harrison's name stand out in the world of old things and collectibles? Rick has always been incredibly good at finding secret value in places that other people might easily miss. Is it a natural ability or the result of learning over and over again and getting experience? His sharp eye and wide range of information made Pawn Stars a hit in the end. People who watch Pawn Stars have seen Rick value a lot of different things, from old cars and rare historical papers to modern collectibles. He seems to know a lot, but he often asks experts for help when he doesn't understand something. Could this be a sign of a professional who knows what he can and cannot do? On the show, Rick has bought and sold many things. A few big wins, but some not quite what he thought they would be. Was it his extensive knowledge of watches, guns, and artifacts from American history that helped him make so much money? Before he found out it was worth much more, Rick bought the New England Patriots Super Bowl ring in 2001 for $20,600.00. This was one of his most famous deals. Was it just luck that Rick got such a good deal, or did he have a strong sense of what sports memorabilia is worth? A collection of Spanish gold, including doubloons found in the wreckage of his ship in 1715, was another impressive purchase that showed how much he loved both history and valuable metals. Is this all there is to know about Rick's life, though? Behind the success and fun times, Rick Harrison has been through a lot of loss. What terrible things has he been through, and how have they changed him? Behind the bright lights of the stage and the happy TV banter, Rick's personal life has been full of big ups and downs and sadness. He does more than just pick up old things and make million-dollar deals. It also holds the weight of sad turning points. There are scars and broken relationships that might never fully heal. Rick has been through 3 failed marriages. It's possible that each one left scars on his heart. It's not hard to picture the mental pain and abandonment he must have felt when relationships he thought were stable broke down. Each breakup took away some of his faith, hope, and dream of a happy family. Rick was married to Kim Harrison for the first time in 1982, but they split up 3 years later. Because of this tragedy, Rick felt the pain of a broken family for the first time. Rick's marriage gave him 2 boys, Corey and Adam, but it ended quickly, so he had to balance being a dad with his own goals. The breakup made him more careful in future relationships and more determined to get a stable job so he could support his kids. During this hard time, Rick's father Richard became a rock. He gave him useful advice and helped him with the family business. It hurt even more after that. Rick Harrison married Tracy Harrison in 1986, and their 25-year marriage seemed to be a good one, especially after their son Jake was born. That being said, this marriage also ended in divorce in 2011, leaving Rick with the pain of failure and questions about his ability to keep his family happy. He kept his personal life more to himself after this split. turned his attention even more to the pawn shop and Pawn Stars. Richard, Rick's father, stayed an important person in his life, both in the business world and as an emotional support. He helped Rick deal with his pain and strengthened his sense of duty to his family. Rick's third marriage to Deanna, which began in 2013, was at first seen as a chance for him to find happiness again after 2 previous breakups. That marriage did end in divorce, though, in 2021. This was the 3rd time Rick had to deal with the hard truth that a relationship was ending. He became less open and skeptical about love as his personal relationships failed over and over again. He kept his private life out of the public eye,